Welcome back, y'all, and happy Thursday. This is the Bluechip Breakdown, and I'm your host, Bull. Today, we'll talk about a couple different things. Number one, Joe Milton just got traded from the Patriots to the Cowboys. I'll tell you why I think that's big for Joe, but also big for our Tennessee Volunteers. And Carson Sneed has taken several unofficial visits here recently, and people are wondering, can we hold on to the four-star tight end that's an in-state guy? His brother actually plays at Tennessee. Before, I felt very confident with it. Now I'm not sure because Chad Simmons just dropped an article with On3 talking about the 6 official visits that Carson Sneed has set up. So we'll break that whole thing down. But before we get into it, please do us a very big favor. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It's a great way to support what we're doing here. And also a very big shout out to the members of this channel that are taking it one step further in supporting us. If you would like to also support us on that level, then you can do so by clicking on the join button just below this video. You will be getting all 22 film of our Tennessee Volunteers. And then also you will be getting, extensive film breakdowns from last season, and we will continue that in 2025 as well. And you can also donate as little as $1 to our Cash App by scanning the Cash App QR code wherever that is on the screen. But all the links will be down in the description below. Thank you so much for all of the support. Let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, y'all, we're going to start with Joe Milton getting traded from the Patriots to the Cowboys and why that's a big deal for him and for our Tennessee Volunteers. So first and foremost, I used to be a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan, and I kind of fell out with him just because Jerry Jones pissed me off. So I can't cheer for him like I used to until he leaves. I'm not like most people where you either hate or love Dallas, but they are a very polarizing franchise. They're actually the most valuable sports franchise in the entire world. It's been that way for close to like a decade now. So they're obviously very, very popular. They get talked about 12 months out of the year. And we also know that the backup quarterback is typically going to be talked about a lot along with the starting quarterback, especially a guy like Joe Milton, who has all the talent, 6'5", 240. He's probably got the strongest arm that I've ever seen. He can throw the ball probably about 90 yards. He can also run. He can move. He maybe isn't the most accurate quarterback, but he is kind of like that boom or bust prospect. And I promise you, Dallas Cowboy fans will talk a lot about, hey, Joe Milton needs to be playing more. So preseason stuff, he's going to get a whole lot of looks. He's going to be talked about significantly, but also as the season starts. We also know that Dak Prescott is starting to get a little bit longer in the tooth. He's a little bit more injury prone. I'm not wishing injury on anyone. I hope that he stays healthy. But if he does have to miss a game or two, Joe Milton, I think he could thrive in an offense where Jerry Jones wants to, make it like those 90s Dallas Cowboys offenses where you lean on that run and then you go to that play action. Joe Milton is built for that. So saying all those things just to say that Joe Milton's brand is going to get built up significantly. Okay, you're going to hear about him all the time. How does that help Tennessee? Well, because him being brought up as a quarterback that played at Tennessee with all this talent, people are going to be hyping him up. What that's going to do for us is it's going to put us in the forefront of a school that can produce good NFL talent. And it's not just about, bringing in more quarterbacks, but at any other position, because all these players want to go to the NFL. They want to see how are these teams building players from that program. So I think that all these things are going to be very, very beneficial for our Tennessee Volunteers moving forward, and I'm very excited about it. Now I want to talk about Carson Sneed, who is a four-star in-state tight end committed to our Tennessee Volunteers in the 2026 class. Grew up a lifelong Tennessee fan. Like we said, his older brother, Carson Sneed, plays wide receiver for our Vols. So he did pull the trigger pretty early. I think that he has a great skill set. He's going to be close to about 6'6". Right now, he's at about 240 pounds, but he's probably going to play close. I would say over 250 for sure, but probably close to like 260. I think that he's going to look in college a lot like how Gronk looked in the NFL. I'm not saying that he's going to be that good, but I think that he's going to be that dominant in college just because he has such a wide catch radius. He's so strong at the point of contact, whether that's blocking or whether that's running through tackles, boxing people out. I think that seams is going to be a major problem for defenses to try to cover. I think that he's going to be a major red zone threat, a major third down, fourth down, or, whatever, got to have it down threat. So he's got all the skills, all the tools that I love in a tight end. And that's obviously why everyone is still going after him. So as we talked about, he's going on several unofficial visits here very, very recently, and he's just kind of weighing out all his options. I felt very confident with Tennessee being able to hold on to Carson Sneed until I read the article from Chad Simmons with On3. And he did list out several official visits that Carson Sneed's going to take. And I'll go through those right now. So number one, April the 25th, he's going to North Carolina where Coach Belichick is at. Now, Coach Belichick did coach Gronk. He got a whole lot out of Gronk, but he's coached several other very good tight ends. That's something that Carson Sneed loves about North Carolina. After that, on May the 13th, he's going to UCLA. He said that he loves the fact that they targeted tight ends over 90 times last season. As a point of reference, Tennessee targeted our tight ends 54 times last year. And then after that, he's going to Ole Miss on May the 30th. He talked about them along with the U having several, potential NFL tight ends there. And then he's going to be going to Colorado on June the 13th. He said that they've got an NFL staff. There's a whole lot of, NFL minds there, which he definitely loves. And then he's going to be visiting our Tennessee Volunteers last on June the 20th. So all those things right there, obviously, as a tight end, it makes sense that he's looking around. And I'm going to try to, step away from being a Tennessee fan, with this portion of it, just because I think that he's doing the correct thing. And I would tell any player, any parent or guardian or loved one of a player that's going to help them throughout this process, because it is very, very tough to not just look at the school that you grew up loving, but look at how are they going to get you ready to get to where you want to get to, right? Because football is not going to last forever, but all these kids have NFL aspirations. It always actually ends, I would say, for like 99% of people that play football, it ends quicker than you want it to. You're always just one play away from that being your last play. So, I think that he's doing it right. Go ahead and weigh out all of your options. I'm not mad at him for this by any means. That is the best thing to do. But I would say that overall, if you look at this thing from top to bottom, Tennessee is going to be the best option because, number one, he's an in-state guy. His brother's there right now. I don't know if his brother's going to be back next year. I think he might be done after this season. But, you're closer to home, which is going to be huge. You're coming to a place that loves you, that wants to use our tight ends as, blockers, just like all around tight ends, right? Catching the routes. We're going to use them a lot more as gadget pieces this season. And while Tennessee has done a good job of putting some of the tight end talent in the NFL, I think that Coach Heupel's gotten the most out of our tight ends. You still want to see them maybe being a little bit more productive than they have been up to this point. But what Carson Sneed is going to see over the course of this year is Tennessee running that pistol more where you can use those tight ends more like gadget pieces. He's going to see Miles Kitselman once he gets back, who had a great season last year. He was actually one of our leading pass catchers last season, which I'm sure is going to be huge for Carson Sneed. But he's also going to see Ethan Davis. He's going to see some of these younger guys also getting their opportunities to make some plays and do some really big things. And those are the guys that I feel like could be, maybe top 2 or 3 tight ends whenever they, in their draft class. Okay. So I think that all those things are going to look really good for Carson Sneed. And I would still say that I feel confident that Tennessee is going to hold on to him. And, we'll see what happens with some of the, different NIL things that's coming up here on April the 7th with the rev sharing and all of that. Actually, I will be talking to kind of like a GM later on today. And we'll try to get that video out for you later on today, too. It's going to be on our other channel called Sports Legends, but we're going to dive into all these things. But I do think that it all kind of points towards Tennessee being able to hold on to Carson Sneed at the end of the day. If you actually go and look at Ole Miss, while they might have some guys that could get drafted, they didn't really use their tight ends, not nearly as much as Tennessee does. So I think that our biggest competition is probably going to be North Carolina, but they're also very unproven. And, they're playing in the ACC. I'm sure that Carson Sneed wants to stay closer to home, play in the SEC versus the best competition. And we'll see what happens with this thing. Obviously, I'm going to be watching it very closely, but I just think that big picture, being able to stay close to home, going to a university that like we just talked about, right? Like your playing days will not last forever. I'm not quite sure what Carson Sneed wants to do after his playing days end, but he strikes me as the type of guy that wants to be around football all the time. So whether that's coaching, which you already know that the staff is going to let him come back and get his start coaching here with Tennessee, or, if maybe it's broadcasting or something else. Tennessee has a great broadcasting school. We've got great schools for pretty much everything. And if he does want to do that broadcasting route, Peyton Manning has his own, I think it's called like Omaha Productions or something like that. Peyton would definitely want to help him out. Okay, so I just think that looking at it from that perspective, being that in-state guy that your older brother also played here, Dayton Sneed, and coming here with a team that wants to utilize tight ends. We're going to use 2 or 3 of them. We're going to use you as some gadget pieces. And we've just kind of needed to get that influx of talent to showcase how much we can use them. And now that we have that, I think that Carson Sneed is going to be able to check off all the boxes with Tennessee. And again, I think that's very important because it keeps the players away from the transfer portal. He weighed out all of his options and he actually chose Tennessee, maybe not 100% based off of the NIL, which he might get some better offers in other places, but looking at the big picture. So I feel good about this from top to bottom. And again, man, we will see what happens over the course of these next few months. But that's it for my thoughts Please share yours with me down in the comment section. And as always, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks. Peace.